Hi everybody, thanks a lot for joining me for this video all about Milani stuff, new Milani stuff that they have come out with. They're calling it kind of their new 2012 collection. The PR department there sent me some things to check out and review. I wish I could say I was super excited to tell you about all this stuff. There are a few things that I really do like out of this collection, but there are some things that I'm just kind of like, you know, not too pumped about. So, but it's still important to tell you about those things. So as I've always said, you know, it's important to know about what doesn't work just like what does work. So I'm going to go through all of it in this video for you. Also, thank you so much for the outpouring of support for the new brand spanking new channel, Beauty Vlogcast. I just launched that this past weekend and I am just overwhelmed and overjoyed by the people who are saying this is something they want to see. And I think it's going to be super fun to just feel a little more free about posting non-makeup related things, because that will be where it goes on Beauty Vlogcast. I'm used to saying vlogcast. My mouth doesn't really want to work that way, but anyway, back to the makeup stuff. With this Milani stuff, there are a lot of like overall new products, and in some cases just some new shades. There are also some new nail polishes, which I've only had a chance to use one, which I did really like the color. I've had it on for about a week and it's kind of chipping off a little bit, but they have some fast dry nail polishes, and this is Fast Fuscia. So as I try some more of the nail polishes, there's some new glitter ones as well. I'll let you know down the road how those work, but for now just the makeup. And these powders, these are the new face powders. They are called Illuminating face powders. And when I first saw these, I thought, oh my god, those are gorgeous. Like the way they've imprinted sort of that floral rosebud type print. When it comes right down to using them, I feel like these are just kind of a watered down bronzer or blush. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to say this can be your ultra smooth highlighter, bronzer, and blush, when really, when you're trying to make one thing do so many things, it's not necessarily going to do any of those things very well. Not light enough to be a highlight, not bright enough to be a blush, not dark enough to be a bronzer. That's basically what this comes down to. And this is my opinion. I mean, this is how it worked on a medium kind of average skin tone here. The pink one here, this is called Beauty's Touch. And, you know, it's just a really, really light pink, and it doesn't come off. I mean, this is in a concentrated swatch there. Sorry, not trying to flip you off, but this is a pretty concentrated swatch of it on my finger, sheared out. I mean, it just looks really, really pale. Amber Nectar, this one is kind of, it has some peach tones in it. This is the one actually that might be most feasible to use as a blush. It actually gives a nice peachy glow to the skin, and I do kind of like that as a blush. It's not a very bold blush, but if one of these were to be used as a blush, it would be the one called Amber Nectar. And then Hermosa Rose is the one that seems to me would be the most like a bronzer, but it really is not deep and dark enough. I mean, even for a light skin tone, I wouldn't necessarily advise it, because look, it's just kind of there, and it's not quite bright enough to be a highlight. Sorry to say, they look gorgeous, and I love the concept with the packaging, but I think, you know, trying to get a product to do 3 different things in one is not always an option. Next up, there is a new liquid eyeliner. It's like one of those pen form eyeliners. It's called iTech Extreme, and I have it here in, I believe it's called Blackest Black, and I've been using this one quite a bit. It's got kind of this flexible, longer tip than I've seen on some felt tip liners, but this is a felt tip, and it's kind of flexible. What it reminds me of is like the tip of the L'Oreal Carbon Black Liner Intense. It reminds me of that, just in a pen form. This dries really quickly. You don't have like a bunch of wait time after you draw it on your lash line, and it is instantly a matte black. It's not a shiny patent leather kind of black, just totally matte black. One thing I've noticed is as I wear this throughout the day, the intensity is not always as good. I feel like the CoverGirl 24-hour line blast is a little better on just looking black no matter what all day long, and this one faded a little bit. It's gonna get the job done, but the CoverGirl one is just a little bit better in terms of intensity. They also have a brow tint pen, and this is felt tip brow color. I have it in dark brown. The tip is maybe a little finer than the liner I showed you. This can make some really fine, like hair-like strokes, as you can see here, really kind of soft looking. And I think this would be a really great thing actually for someone who really has to draw in their brows. Like if you don't have a lot of brow there at all and you kind of have to reconstruct it, I think this would be a natural way to get the fine hair-like look back on there. However, for me, I only fill in a couple of places, you know, like maybe a little bit. I have a scar out here actually that I always fill in every day. And when I was going over this, when this liquidy product is going over other hairs, it makes some of your brow hairs stick together. If you're just filling in teeny spots here and there like I am, you might want to go for a pencil. It's just easier to work with. They have come up with some new shades of their Runway Eyes shadows, and these basically are packaged just like the baked eyeshadows. These are baked as well, so I mean they could call them baked, but they're calling them Runway Eyes. And what these all have in common is basically that they have kind of a glittery, really glimmery, shiny appearance to them. And if you keep up with my blog, I have already blogged about these and swatched these for you. But we get into the wet versus dry thing here. With these, they can look very flaky. When worn dry, I feel like they don't go on with near as much intensity, but when you wear them wet, it takes away any kind of a powdery finish. A lot of people say, well, why would you even want to bother, take the time to put on something wet? Well, the process of using a dry shadow with adding a little water and making it wet, and I have a whole video about how to do that, by the way. I mean, it totally looks like it could be a cream. It looks like it could be a liquid. I mean, it just kind of glows on the lids. So I'm a fan of that technique for that reason, because it takes away all powdery appearances. This one is called Golden Touch. So that's kind of the lightest one. Then you've got Peaches and Cream, which is a pretty peachy shade. And then the other one is Antigua, and this is your green with golden notes to it there. So again, these all kind of, I don't love the way they apply dry. I do think they're gorgeous wet. Then Milani also just launched a few more shades of their baked eyeshadows, which I've reviewed, and I like these a lot. And I think these new shades, they go on really nicely dry and wet. Wet is again going to take away any powdery look. It's going to look really slick, kind of foiled in a way. These all have a slightly metallic look to them when they're worn wet. The colors we have are Copper Excess, which is very pretty. You can see, you know, they're kind of swirled with different tones. They're not all one flat color. We've got a pretty pink that is, if I can get it open, this is Must Have Fuchsia. If you like hot pinks and you're looking for a great hot pink to wear on the eyes, this would be it. Haven't seen any other probably vivid hot pink like that in the drugstore. And then this one just makes me think peacock. It is Green Fortune. And this is neat because it's green swirled with like purple and deeper greens, a little bit of turquoise in there. Very, very pretty. There are a few new shades of the crystal glosses. These have been around for a while. They're kind of small, compact packaging, which I like. Milani says these have sheer to medium coverage on the lips, which I'd say is pretty accurate. These aren't really, you know, heavy, opaque, super opaque glosses. They also claim to have a cotton candy scent, which I probably wouldn't have called that out as being cotton candy, but it is kind of there. The new shades that they have, they've got a clear, which is totally self-explanatory, you know, clear, glossy, shiny. They also have one called Sheer Dark Honey, which I thought, ooh, this could be so interesting, and it made me think of the Dark Honey Clinique stuff that they have, but this just made my lips look kind of gray. The other one is Pucker Up, and this, I wish this looked more like it did in the packaging, because I think that's a beautiful coral shade, but it's really too sheer on the lips to tell that it is this color. One that I really love, that I think is just a wonderful pink. It's not too bright, but it is really, really pretty, and it's Fruit Punch. And it might look a little intimidating in the packaging, but I promise this will show up with some pink on your lips, but it will not be overboard crazy pink. So that one's great. I also really think Raspberry Icing is beautiful. And this is kind of like more full coverage on the lips. You can build it up a little bit more for even more color, but my picks in that whole bunch, and my picks overall kind of the things I'm talking about in this video, Fruit Punch and Raspberry Icing, couple of really, really nice glosses. And the final thing that I'm I'm going to talk about, brand new thing, is the Haute Flash, or the Hot Flash, however you decide you want to say it, these new full coverage glosses. So these claim to really, you know, be totally colorful on your lips, not sheer at all, totally opaque. They also claim to have an extra glossy shimmer finish, and that's only really, in my mind, that's only due to the reflective kind of shimmer that is in a lot of these, not because they're shiny. These aren't like a wet look shiny lip gloss. It's an applicator that's kind of flat on each side. So I think that allows, it's kind of flexible, so it allows you to put it on kind of in both directions, which is sort of neat. I find that the color, the pigment in the gloss wears off before the sparkle. So, and in some cases it's like a blue toned sparkle, which looks kind of odd. Like the color is gone, you know, the pink or the whatever shade you're wearing has worn off, but you're left with just kind of dry sparkle on your lips, which looks really strange. There is a standout shade in this bunch for me though that I think is worth it. And the one I'm wearing now, which I do kind of like, this is called Quick Flash, and it's just a light pink. Soft light pink, and that's the shimmer that's making it look glossy. It's not like a wet look shiny gloss, but I do like this pink. That's a pretty good one. Golden Flash is sort of bronzy. This I like as well, but it may be a little dark for some people. It may be a little more on the brown side than I think a lot of people might want to wear. Star Flash is kind of like a, I would call this like a lilac pink. So there's just a little purple coming in here, but it has a blue toned shimmer in it. Like the sparkle is absolutely has a bluish hue to it, and it just looks really unnatural on the lips. I mean, it's kind of fun to put on if you're dressing up or doing something crazy. I mean, it might be fun. Flashy is like a classic hot pink. So I love the pigmentation of this. I love when you put it on. It is totally, like they say, full coverage pink, but just be aware it's super bright, and this one was not really shiny. I don't know if it doesn't have quite as much sparkly stuff in there. I mean, it looks like it does, but it just is a little bit dry. In a Flash, this is purple, guys, with blue sparkle in it. I wouldn't wear this in public. I don't know what to say. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty to look at, but how many times do we buy something based on being pretty to look at while it's in the tube? We want it to look good on our faces, and I don't know. If you're looking for purple, this is it. Hot Flash is stunning. I love this red, and I don't feel like I run into a lot of great red lip glosses. It's looking a little more tomatoey orangey red as I show it to you here, but this is actually kind of like a blue-based red. I think it's really wearable. I think I just picture a night out, you know, a winged liner and a beautiful red lip with this, and you wouldn't have to wear a lipstick with it. You wouldn't have to do any layering. I really love this shade, and this would be my pick out of all of those glosses for sure. So I hope that lets you know a little bit more about the brand new Milani 2012 stuff. There are probably some more new shades other than what I have. I don't think I have everything, but I have a lot of the new varieties of things that you'll be seeing in drugstores if you're not already seeing them. If I had to share some standout things, I mean, I love a couple of these crystal glosses, the ones in Fruit Punch and Raspberry Icing, and I love this red called Hot Flash from the other, from the new lip gloss line. I really do like their baked shadows. I think they're stunning wet. The liquid liner's pretty good. These are all right, although you can really only wear them one way. They only look great worn wet. So there's that. And of course, these were kind of a miss for me, these new powders, which look awesome, but they don't really perform. So thank you again for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.